So what happens, deadheads, if you take this thing, this X7 that's been out for a while, you take the shell, you take the same thing that you have, but you change the software and possibly change the insides. You get something called this. What is this? This is the M7 from the same people that do M19, M18, M43. I don't know. When I ordered it, it did say SJGAM, but now it says Hanlivia. What is this thing? Let's get to the unboxing, deadheads. Hey everyone, another day, another handheld, another unboxing. This time with this one being the M7. No wait, that's not me. Hey deadheads, welcome back to the channel, or welcome for the first time, new deadheads. Today we're going to take a look at this. When I ordered this, I thought I was getting an SJGAM, like the M19, the M17. This is an M7, but it has a different thing. So anyways, thanks for stopping by the channel. We're going to do a full unboxing and first look at this unit and see if it holds up to the tradition of the solid hardware and crappy lockdown software. I don't know. Hit that like button and subscribe. Make sure you leave me a comment and let me know if you like seeing these things. But let's hop right in and let's get into this unboxing. Alright, deadheads, so first, this is a pretty attractive box. I do gotta say that the box itself is pretty nice looking. I'm not sure what Chanlivia is. I guess that is another subsidiary. Maybe the SJGAM people license this out. I don't know. But the box is pretty nice, okay? So we're gonna give it points for that. You know, I think a nice box is an indication usually that they cared about the product, and hopefully the product is great. Video game, 4.3 inches, looks like a PSP with 2 sticks. M7 here, it's got the nice little foil inlay. We do have an IPS screen, we have USB-C, and then we do have a bunch of simulators. Oh, a professional game chip. On the side here, nothing there, nothing there. 128 gigs. And oh, here comes the familiar looking back. So yes, this does look like the M17, 18, 19 back. So we are running Emulec Linux. The simulator, interesting. It only shows PSP, PS1, and N64. That's interesting. Processor, it's not telling me the processor. I bet it is not a 3326. We'll see. If it's going to play N64 or PSP, I don't know. 2 gigs of memory, maybe 64 gigs. It's got an LCD 4.3 inch IPS 480 by 272, 1500 milliamp hour battery, storage, and a power supply. This product has a warranty of 90 days. Our products are tested, liability limits if their placement, whatever that says, D-Prod Uto, found defective manufacturing. So again, nice little logo there, kind of like that. Chanlivia, sounds South American, I don't know. I don't know if I trust that, but let's, this is a pretty attractive box, I'll give it that. It looks better than the boxes for the M19. It doesn't have the same old Crash Bandicoot or Sony stuff on it. Oh, nice, so got a little padding there, okay. So they did take some time with the box here. As if you watch the intro, this is aping the pretty terrible X7 that was released about a year ago with the hardware. Let's see if we get any English here in our manual. Nice color manual. So somebody put some time and effort into the manual. They put some time and effort into the box. Let's hope that the same thing. So yes, here is our English. Power, toggle on, up, down, left, right, etc., etc. Direction rocker, 4.3, supports N64 arcade, MAME, Atari 2600. All right, kids, remember that, Atari 2600. External sound, 128 gigs, 3.55. Main interface, altimeters to be displayed on the main interface. So that's a different looking interface than we're used to. Left and right, name, let's see, list after the entering number of ranking of games will be displayed. I don't know what they mean about rankings, favorites. Search filter, again, this looks like it's going to be super locked down. Direction key, game menu, start key, enter the game. Select start same time, brings up a game menu, allows user to pause, save, load, exit. So this is going to be the same old familiar stuff we're used to seeing. 20, now it says 28 simulators, so okay, TF card, HDMI in this thing, All right, 4.3, all right, picture machine is for reference, shell the machine is subject to material object. Does this say about 14-year-olds? Oh, now it says children between 6 and 14 need to be accompanied. So this one, kids, you can actually use if you're under 14 as long as you're accompanied. Remember, the M19 said don't touch it. Use the output, executive standard something, whatever line 5 means. So here's our warranty card. So anyways, deadheads, let's see what kind of USB cord we got. USB A to C. So it's not the crappy old micro or something like that. Anything else in this box here? A little card confirming that they checked it. So pretty good start here, guys. I'm not optimistic. I don't know. I just don't have a good feeling about this. And wow, okay. Again, trying to make this thing look attractive. Very first impressions, it's kind of light and feels kind of cheap, so that's not too surprising. We have sliders, and I hate sliders. The only sliders I've ever liked have been on a 3DS. So this one, not terrible to start, but yeah, it's like they don't know how to make sliders in the same way that they can make those that are actually any good. Let's take a look at this design. So this is kind of nice, I gotta say, better than that red and blue on the X7. Kind of nice texture here, kind of smooth. We have start and select. The slider, and then these buttons here, and they look like they're pretty good. Let's see. They're a little soft mushy, okay? They're not firm, so a little mushy on the travel distance there. The problem with mushiness, sometimes they tend to stick, and that's kind of feeling like maybe that's going to stick a little bit. We have the PSP type lanyard hole here, I guess. I guess that is your volume right there, plus or minus volume, the other rocker, and oh, yep, here comes that familiar D-pad. This is the kind, I do not like these kind of D-pads where they're separate. Some people love these, but yeah, this is definitely not the kind of D-pads that I truly, prefer overall. It's hard to do shoryuken, any fighting, so I don't know about that. And interestingly enough, like a PSP, just the 2 shoulder buttons. We don't have 4. So you're going to give us double sticks, but you're not going to give us 4 shoulder buttons. That's really weird. Traditional on-off switch. Here's our micro SD card, our USB-C. It looks like our headphone jack. And that, now let's take a look at the back. This looks just like the back of the M7, I'm sorry, the X7. Your speaker holes here. Don't understand that. A portable multimedia player. So yeah, I bet they bought a bunch of these that didn't sell, and they like redid the inside and put on EMU-elec on here somehow. So let's fire this thing up and see what it looks like. All right, so there's our familiar loading screen. This looks a lot like the M19 that we just took a look at and are still testing for review. There's the good old EMU-elec. So, kind of loading slow. Maybe it's pre-caching, I don't know. It's a little slower than that, but again, I am not very hopeful that this is going to actually have, and we already know, okay, it says menu, but I don't think menu is going to do anything. Backlight, system, let's see what we got here. Oops, I guess it's A. So the backlight, system settings, information and version. This is from May 9th. So the software is not that old. Language, English. So, all right. So it's in English already. That's good. And nothing else. As I imagine, there's just really nothing in that menu, just like it was before. Hopefully the community can help me try to crack this thing. So we have some Final Burn Neo, we have some arcade classics, a Thomas Wave, all games on here, PlayStation, Neo Geo Pocket, Mega Drive, Game Gear, all the lower ones, Game Boy Advance. So This is what I'm wondering. N64. I am going to be surprised if this thing actually somehow plays that. Oh, okay. Dr. Mario box art for the wrong game, unless it's titled wrong. So not real good scrape art here. Paper Mario. These are not English ROMs, even though let's try some Mario Kart and see what it'll do with that and see how it's going to play. Oh, no sound? Let's see here. Oh, okay. Didn't start with sound. It's loading. It's not crashing or anything. So let's see. Boy, that's loud. This thing is just. While the M19 felt really well made, as did the M18, this feels pretty darn cheap. But again, I think they just took this old shell and then just added this nice graphic on it. Oh, listen, struggling. Yeah, that doesn't sound very good. So it's got audio glitching, but there's no way for me to turn on frames, so I'm just going to have to guess here. It's not unplayable, but it's certainly not. And it makes me wonder if this has a 3566 in here somehow that, again, just needs some custom firmware to be optimized. This 4.3-inch screen running at the same resolution as the PSP is pretty good, and if we get N64 on here, there's hope for PSP. I don't know, it said PSP on the box, so we'll see if we can load some PSP. But this is playable. I gotta say, color me shocked, because you know what we had on the X7 was definitely not going to play. So I think it's mostly the shell. I think it's probably a different motherboard and CPU. It's starting to really chug there. So it's going to be like typical performance without some hacks or some adjustments. It's not going to play real well. But I'd say this is playable for a device. As I throw up there the price that I paid for this on AliExpress, it wasn't terribly expensive. So I think maybe, you know, it's a good bargain. But let's see if we can get into something else and see if maybe there is some PlayStation Portable on here, or let's see what other higher end systems this thing can do. So Deadheads, there's no PlayStation Portable on here. I'm going to see if I can add some ROMs here, but I went ahead and loaded up a PlayStation 1 game, one that I don't see very often, Jammer Lammy. So, look again. I guess it boots with no sound. You got to turn the sound on. I used to love this game. Back when I was running PSX Nation, this was one of my favorite games for the PlayStation 1. Parappa's awesome, but Jammer Lammy, with her, you know, more rock-leaning music just appealed to me just a little bit more than the rap, but I still love Parappa. So since it played N64 the way it did, it really should play PS1 fine, but we shall see, right? And it crashed again. So Deadheads, I couldn't get Jammer Lammy to play, so we're going to try something else. There is a remarkable number of PS1 games on here. I will give it that. Again, I wouldn't trust this SD card, but it does have quite a bit of ROMs on it. So that's pretty impressive, 128 gigs. Now, how many of them are going to work, I don't know, but let me load up another PS1 game. So let's try some Street Fighter EX. Again, I'm anticipating terrible controls here, but let's see if this will boot or if it's going to crash on me like Jammer.
Street Fighter EX plus alpha.
Plus alpha. Alright, so it looks like this is going to actually play. I don't feel very confident about pulling off a fireball, a Hadouken. Shuriken, so I don't know. So let's start up here. As I thought, this is a awful D-pad to fight with. This is just terrible. I guess, well, with the slider, I can pull it off. So I guess that's a benefit if you want to. Yeah, this is definitely not something I'm going to want to play. But it's playing PlayStation 1 fine. This looks pretty good. I don't think it's going to have... I don't know why Unjammer kept crashing. But yeah. Oh no. Chun-Li is just eating me, or Sakura. So yeah, I can get it. I can get the fireball off. But again, I'm having to use this slider, and that's not really what we all know are made for fighting games. Alright, let's try something else on here and see if we can try one more game, Deadhead. So while I'm playing this next game, I'm going to just go ahead and do this review here because I can tell you that this is not something I would recommend. It is not in the same class. The M19, I'm getting ready for my review. I'm still enjoying it. This guy right here, I can see why SJGAM didn't put their name on this because, yeah, it's just not, it's got too many flaws in it. So the ROM set is impressive, but then it's labeled wrong. It doesn't have the right pictures for everything. It's not scraped properly. It's got the numbers, although it is in alphabetical somewhat as well. These sliders are not great. They could be a lot better. The D-pad's terrible, but it does have a pretty nice screen. It talks about playing PSP. It doesn't ship with any PSP games, and I will update in the comments if I get this to actually load a PSP, because maybe that'll be a saving grace. PSP on the R43 Pro or M18 is pretty nice. So this has the same screen, at 4.3-inch screen, just in a different form factor. So perhaps, you know, this could be a good budget. I guess for the price this is asking, there's a whole lot more terrible machines out there for it. But unfortunately, this doesn't carry on with what we have seen in the so far with the M series. So even though this has the M series name, I don't think this is up there. This is going to be a step below. As we load up some Game Boy Advance here. Again, I don't know if you throw some custom firmware on this thing, it could become good in the future. But right now, I'm not thinking this is something you should really dive into unless you just really want to tinker. Now, me personally, I'm looking forward to tinkering around with this. And certainly look forward to seeing if I can get some custom firmware on this thing. Again, you got to, here's another thing, you got to start the sound every time. That's ridiculous. No hardware. Volume button should not work, you know, like that. So, but it's playing Game Boy Advance fine. It did play N64 somewhat fine. It might play PlayStation Portable or Dreamcast okay, I don't know. But overall, I think, you know, it doesn't have the double shoulder buttons. Why have two sliders with no shoulder buttons? Terrible D-pad. Really nice box, really impressive box, nice manual, nice look here. I think that's pretty nice that they did this sort of custom paint job. It's really nice. They should have done something on the back, I think, to make that look more attractive. But yeah, overall, this is probably near the bottom of budget that you're going to go budget. There's plenty more other budget things for the same $35. I'm R36 all the way, even though this has the wider screen. I'm going to bump up to a trim UI Smart Pro in the $50, $60 range if I want a wider screen. So just can't say this is going to really end up impressing me. I will review this in the future if some good custom firmware comes out and it really somehow becomes something better. But as you can see, you know, it's going to play anything under PlayStation 1 fine. The screen is adequate. It looks good. It's an IPS screen. It's got nice look to it. It is laminated, so it doesn't feel like it's going to fall out or anything. It's got a nice look to the box, but yeah, just too many issues here with this. And in your $30 to $50 range, there's plenty of other better items. So, Deadheads, this has been an unboxing, first look and review of the M7 by not SJGAM, but by Newcomer, unless guys leave me a comment if I've missed their other items. Chanlivia. But Chanlivia, keep trying. Contact me if you want some of my input on how you can do things better. And we'll see you next time, Deadheads. Dead Fred out.